Get ready to kick off your week with Weeksauce. And if you enjoy this show, find more podcasts like it over at amove.tv. Happy Monday, everyone, and happy Monday, Kyle.
Happy Monday, Garrett.
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing pretty good.
You sound like you got the Monday grumbles.
No, not the grumbles. It was just a hearty weekend, and as of right now, I performed my day 2 of running on Saturday, and I'm a 2 days after kind of sore person.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
It's never the next day. It's always 2 days after. That's just, I'm so dead. And I know you're impacting the ground. Like my body, my muscles, my organs literally aren't used to hitting the ground with about 175 pounds a step and going, and just everything hurts.
For me, it's always it's my back. My back usually gets me more than anything after a good run. Every now and then, probably because I didn't stretch right, it'll be my ankles or my knees. But usually, it's kind of like the back quarter sections of me.
It's something that I've been meaning to get to for a long time. It's been haunting me. The weather right now is gorgeous in Washington. Sorry, just I should say Western Washington. I always get tweets. I'm sorry that there's mountains in the way stealing the gorgeous weather. Eastern Washingtonians. But it's beautiful right now over here, and I couldn't avoid it any longer. It's such an important part. Your heart is also needs a workout, and lifting doesn't do that. And it just sucks that it doesn't, because you don't get bonus time for doing cardio. You know, you spend an hour and a half doing the gym stuff. You don't just, the world isn't like, you worked out, congratulations, here's 3 hours extra in your evening to enjoy video games. And when you run for 20 minutes, it certainly doesn't turn into an hour. It is 20 minutes of pain. And right now my heart is stronger than my lungs, and my lungs are on fire. I'm doing the nose in, mouth out thing. I'm trying to anyway. I'm trying to remember. I just can't, because I'm dying.
Yeah, man, it's that's the worst. I hate that. The hurting lungs. I'll take that. I'll take anything else. Any other workout pain over the burning lungs. I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, like everything, it all hurts, and then it gets better, and you get stronger. And
yep. Well, I'm glad someone's enjoying some nice weather, because we are currently in the worst time of the year to be anywhere near Florida.
Surely that can't be true.
Oh, this is absolutely true. August is the pits, man.
But what about, well, I mean, at least not nationally, because this is like a quiet suffering. Later on, you get hurricane season, and, we're all hearing about your weather.
Nah, bring it, man. Hurricane season's fine. Bring the shade. Bring the storms. I mean, the storms are happening right now, but they happen for about 5 minutes.
This is the time period where everyone's like, we should be on a cruise. Let's schedule one for November. How did I schedule a cruise for hurricane season?
This sounds really personal, like it's something you had to deal with very recently.
Oh, dude, it was something last year.
For those of you,
act like this doesn't happen every single year.
For those of you who aren't aware of what we're talking about, Kyle's family scheduled a family cruise when Irma came through.
Yes.
And they left out of Florida. You got to go on the cruise, though, and no one was on the boat as a result of the hurricane, so that's pretty rad.
Yeah, it was a third full. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh, it sounds lovely, not having to share a hot tub with 8 other drunken bros.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but I'm ready to die this morning, because I did yard work yesterday, and it was 93 degrees with about 55% humidity.
Man, how's that going?
It's a good way to lose weight. It's a good way to.
Weight, or are you actually waking up sore from all the bending and plucking?
Yes. Yes to both.
Do you sit on your mower, or do you push it?
Oh no. We don't have that much yard. So I have a God, my push mower is I think almost 10 years old. It is a rusty junker that still gets the job done.
Gas?
Yep.
I mean, I figured those like pushy things don't really work.
I didn't know electric lawnmowers were a thing until very recently when I saw a neighbor using one, and they look like I'm not smart enough to use one of those. I would totally just run right over the cord and murder myself with electricity. Actually,
oh yeah,
actually, it's funny you mentioned that because last Christmas, Katie went all out and like wrapped the tree in the front with lights. It looked beautiful, and she went out and bought specifically green extension cords so that it would blend into the lawn. And I ran right over that sucker.
Oh no!
It was just $30 extension cord done. Yeah. I'm not an aware human being. So yeah, I don't believe in electric lawnmowers.
That's fair. I wish they made gas-powered Christmas lights.
I'm sure maybe there's a battery-powered lawnmower out there that I'm not aware of, but I have a battery-powered weed whacker, and I regret getting it because it doesn't last long enough.
Like the drill?
No, I love electric drills. Love them. But weed whacker, man, it works, but it only works for about 20 minutes.
My experience with electric drills is like, and then it's dead. But I love the pneumatic ones where there's that spinny thing inside of it and the air's like shooting out the sides like it's some sort of crazy hair dryer.
I don't know what kind of electric drill you're using, man, but it sounds like it might just be broken and you need a new one.
Oh yeah, it's a little old school, you know. It's what I remember from growing up.
I had
particularly the hand drills, right?
Yeah, I was gifted. I was gifted a tool set in 2009 after I graduated college and moved to Los Angeles. And my dad was like, "Here, you're a man now. Here's a tool set." And that's
a good gift.
Yeah, it was. I still have everything in that except for the drill. It lasted only about 6 years. And then it was just it wouldn't work. And it was not the battery. I had replaced the battery, and it was just dead. Stopped working.
Like so many things.
It's an allegory for life, Kyle.
Yeah.
That drill your dad gave you when you moved to a city without a job and it didn't work out because there was a recession.
Oh, you know, we both did that.
Oh, yeah, man.
Straight to the city. For stock jobs and security.
Yeah.
Not security, the good kind, like working security.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Speaking of like weird associations with my father, I went shooting last week.
Oh, how was that?
That was really fun.
Was it like a range?
Yeah. Katie has expressed interest in shooting. I have not gone shooting in over 5 years. So we decided to sign ourselves up for a gun safety course, which included some actual shooting. So we went and did that.
Into that?
What goes into the course?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's like scuba diving, and it's probably different depending on where you go. But ours was a 4-hour class.
Oh wow.
And it was very educational. It actually reminded me a lot of taking scuba diving courses.
So like 2 hours in the classroom, kind of looking at stuff. Did you watch a video?
No videos. Well, actually, no, there were. We watched videos, but they were from YouTube of what to never, ever do with a gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lots of people, looking down the barrels of shotguns because they pulled the trigger and it didn't go off. Yeah, don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. Turns out that's a really bad idea. Here I am already forgetting the term, but there's one of the types of misfires is that the bullet will take up to 10 seconds to actually discharge from the gun.
Oh.
Yeah. So the big thing there was if you are out at a range, always keep the gun pointed down the range, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had a lovely video showing an example of one of those misfires, and the dude is firing his shotgun, and you hear click, nothing happens, and then he looks down the barrel and it shoots his hat off.
Oh no!
It missed him like by a hair. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life.
I believe it's a shotgun too, because those things are often homemade. And that's in a Zen activity for sure. You know, granted, I haven't done that in how long? I don't know. Oh my god, really? 18 years maybe? But you know, the whole pressing and the things and putting in the plastic bit and. But people often make those shells themselves, and they're quirky.
I don't know. That was another thing. They were just like, hey, if you decide to buy a gun, maybe don't buy remade ammo. Maybe buy it from a manufacturer because they know what they're doing and they test their rounds.
Yeah, Mark and Ben, sweet.
Yeah. But it was fun, man. I also have never shot inside, and it is loud as hell.
I'm sure. Well, you were wearing... Like, did you have big oranges, or did they give you little earplugs?
Oh, no. Straight up, like, there's a technical name for them, I forget, but I've always called them earmuffs. We had those on, and it was fine. But, like, you can just feel it. Like, when you're at a concert, and, like, it's shaking your skeleton. That's what fire can cut inside, it sounds like.
I mean, are you sore? Like, I remember, like...
No, we were just firing handguns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was nothing crazy that was, kicking into your shoulder or anything like that.
How many people were in the class?
Oh, there were just 4 of us. It was 2 couples. It was me and Katie and an older couple, and that was it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was. I imagine it would take forever with a large class because it was like a 1-lane range.
Oh.
So we went basically one at a time. But yeah. I got hit in the head with an empty cartridge. It ricocheted off the wall and pegged me in the side of the head. That was fun.
Oh.
Yeah. Not the bullet, like the empty casing that fires up the side.
Yeah. The thing, it flew out.
Yeah. And the instructor was like was telling both Katie and the other lady that showed up, hey, don't wear don't wear plunging necklines because the hot casing can go down your shirt.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it was fun. We killed some paper. It was a good time.
Did you get to keep the paper?
Oh yes. We now have some used paper targets in our house that because we live in the South have the lovely. It's written on it. Nothing in here is worth dying for. It's on the target. So.
So you can like hang them in the front window like a kid's drawing.
Yeah, I feel like an honorary redneck now, Kyle.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But it was fun, and Katie got into it. It was fun watching her shoot for the very first shot because it definitely surprised her.
Yeah.
And then after that, she just unloaded that magazine like she was in a Lethal Weapon movie.
Well, I taught myself something a little less thrilling and active this weekend.
Oh, what was that, guy?
It was free-to-play weekend for Endless, the Endless Games, Endless Space.
Oh,
Endless
I saw
Legend.
you tweeting about that.
Yeah, that ended up being butts, man. That was so complicated. Like, mainly it was Endless Space 2 that I really tried to get into. I bought Star Drive back in the day. That game is like known for developer abandonment. It doesn't even have an end game. It just kind of like around like mid game, it just kind of peters out and everything kind of stops working after that, the tech trees and all. But this is basically Civ, as you may have played it, with spacemen calling you up to insult you every once in a while, or your space friends saying that you're pretty cool once in a while in your ears, and you have turns. And at first it doesn't, it's okay. Like you're like, okay, so that's my influence. Cool. I remember that from Civ. Okay. That's my money. Yes. There's 3 more resources. Oh, science. I know that one, science. But then there are 8 specialty resources that you need. And the tech tree, like you get into Witcher 3 and they're like Ignis. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess, ignite, fire. Sure. Imagine that 400 times out in all directions. Just made the butts up words of retro ultra boost fire, but that's also your frame for your mediumship, and your quantum phaser plasma bolts are also how you get peace in the fire planets. Like it was too much. It was too much.
That sounds like too much. That's kind of what I like about Civ is like I really want to do this thing, and it just tells you right there all the things you need to do that thing. and I don't need to read strategies online. I'm just gonna like blindly go for that thing and do what I need to do to get there.
Yeah, and then, your people are unhappy. Well, guess what? In this one, my people were unhappy because they were a planet. I am colonizing planets in space, and one planet wouldn't calm down, and the only information that it was showing me was that it was upset that it was a planet.
Why?
I can't build space stations. I can't help you out. Maybe there's too many planets in that solar system.
They would rather it be a space station?
I'm not sure. But they were pissed that they were a planet. And that's really when I gave up because I couldn't figure out why. And
did they prefer no gravity?
Well, because it was endless space too, like all the guides were like, I'm just gonna assume, hey, welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna assume that you played now Fufsa, which is the word made out of all the different resources. So they just started saying Fufsa or something, and it was impossible. I gave it a good 5 hours. I read everything. I did it twice even. This is kind of like Baldur's Gate for me. Like I really want to know why people like 4X games. I'm still not even sure why they're called 4X. I assume because space is also three-dimensional and the ground makes it 3X, and then you can fly under yourself, and ships don't have to face the right way in space, even though we do because it looks nice in our Star Wars movies.
Well, it depends.
They could totally all be upside down.
It depends on the sci-fi, right? Because I think the coolest thing about Battlestar Galactica, a show I cannot get through, is the way that they fight in space.
Yeah, they tend to use that pretty well, and Firefly did a decent job too. But like in like some of our bigger like main Star Trek, Star Wars, nobody ever just comes flying from the bottom, just upside down flying, twisting, slightly listing, and like being like, oh crap, we entered the battle on the wrong plane.
Yeah, you see a little bit of it in the very first like A New Hope Death Star sequence, because freaking Han, he like shoots down at Vader's wingman and upsets them.
Yeah, that's always kind of confusing, and it makes you think that though they climb the ladders and then they get in like a normal car seat, but they're on the up and down. So I guess gravity changed at some point in the Millennium Falcon.
It has to. That's the only thing that makes any sense to me. I mean, I guess the top one will make sense if you climbed into it. Then like the gravity would be forcing you back into the seat because they're kind of looking up and out, right? But the bottom one makes no sense.
Yeah, and then you have there's the gun, and on my Star Wars, it's not really an action figure, but the Millennium Falcon toy, there's like glass, so they're actually looking out a window. It's not like projected or some sort of like Ready Player One bubble.
No. Man, now I'm actually struggling to properly remember how they sit in the turret, like what their orientation is.
Because they just like walk up and get in them.
Yeah, no, they're looking like straight out. So dude up top has his back to what I would assume is the gravitational pull of the Millennium Falcon because everyone's just walking around on the deck, and then dude in the bottom should be falling forward. So yeah, I'm just gonna chalk it up to gravity changes at some point when they're going up that ladder.
Yeah, they share a ladder because they're yelling at each other back and forth and don't get cocky kid and all that. And, space fantasy's fun. But this was too much. But I did enjoy in the end. Endless Legend also, that's their Civ version on the ground, also has completely bogus. In Civ when they would like give you heroes, and I just turn them into buildings because I didn't know what the heck to do with them.
Yes, I would do the same thing.
Right? Like I've only ever beat Civ by just being really ridiculously rich and buying the world and having like one continent with like 3 cities. I like the roads. I like building roads. That's nice. I wish more games had roads that I could build like StarCraft. I'm like, I want to build the road between my creep highways, right? They're great.
I just want a StarCraft Civ game. That's all I want.
Well, I've heard about Stellaris, and I'm going to try that next. And
yeah, I've had a lot of folks tell me to go and play that game.
And that's my Pillars of Eternity, Deadfire. Like Deadfire brought it in on a boat. It was localized enough. It was character based that I could finally say, I don't like these types of games. I'm okay. It's just me. So if I like Stellaris, then cool. I'll continue this experiment into the 4X, but otherwise, throwing in that towel.
No, that's fair, man. That's cool.
But I did like Endless Dungeon of the Endless. That was fun, which is completely unrelated, but also part of the Endless banner.
Okay.
It's a rogue like dungeon crawl tower defense.
That does not sound like something I would like.
Probably not.
That sounds
The
like a game
majority of reviews that were bad were like, I wish I could control my heroes other than just placing them in the room I want to. I could win this if I could actually control my things.
That's a bold statement because it's not the game they made.
Right. Well, that's all, you know.
If this
That's also like, this Marine stood there and got killed by Zerglings. I would have done a dive roll and pulled out my pistol while I ran away.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have. Fun stuff. Well, that's good, man. Good on you for testing out games that you've always been interested in, even though you sounds like you're not liking them too much.
No, but it was, you grow as a person. Then I immediately went and played, a whole lot of World of Warcraft. So, it's
Good. Okay, is it time for WoW Talk?
back to my comfort zone.
Are we hitting this week's WoW Talk?
Yes, it's time.
Ah, cool. So what have you been doing in WoW, dude?
Well, first I went to, and I did all the, up to the burn-in business, just Horde so far.
I was about to say, because I thought you were leveling Alliance tunes, then I saw you tweeting about the quality of the loot in the Darkshore dailies, and I was like, did he just level really fast, or are you also double dipping onto your Horde?
No, I haven't picked up the BFA expansion yet, and that's where I'm going to use my boost over on the Alliance server we're going to be hanging out on the weekends. And that's going to be like just us hanging out. Like that's like our friends only Diablo tunes kind of thing. And I'll experience the Alliance side kind of stuff over there with a boosted Holy Paladin. But for now, I'm just, working on Yith, the priest. Used to be Taras, but the name got taken, you know what I mean? So I did the Darkshore stuff, got first thing I wanted to do is replace my artifact because I was switching specs all the time, and I didn't want to, then my weapon would get angry at me because it didn't work in the spec, but it wouldn't auto switch anymore because it didn't like the artifacts anymore.
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing. They're not terrible as far as eye level, but if you go and do a daily in Darkshore that gives you a weapon, it will be better than your now stat stick artifact.
Yeah, so, I got a really nice stick and a hat and boots and dress and just, was all ready to go. In fact, there's some good variety out there. Plus, there's, some Alliance running around making it interesting. Mostly I've got completely owned, but I did view 10 people swimming after one Alliance bounty in the water.
So you're playing with war mode checked on?
Yes.
Cool.
There's some cool stuff. If people are like, I miss all my artifact powers. That's where they are. They're hiding in war mode. There's a lot of cool abilities sitting there.
It's different for every class.
Yeah. They're not all the same. But, I get a Psi Fiend that does 1% damage a second to whatever it's locked onto. I get, I think some of these are talents, though. But one of them is, if I have somebody dotted, my Mind Blast is shared amongst everything I've just Mind Blasted. Ooh. So, there's legit, should have been part of the artifact, maybe was because I didn't do Shadow far enough kind of stuff in there that you're like, wow, for questing, having a laser beam Shadow Beast that deals 1% a second when you come across an elite that you're soloing, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, man, there's some really cool stuff. Have you looked at or screwed around with at all the new Warlock? Because it's blowing my mind.
No, I haven't.
It's so freaking the flavor, man, the flavor. First of all, when you summon your demon now, you actually create a rift to the demon world that they would come out of.
That's pretty neat.
So there's some nice flavor for you. But I've been mostly playing Affliction. I actually just got my Warlock to max level. That brings me to 4 Horde characters that are max level now. Anyway, the new demonology, you're just constantly summoning all the demons. And you have an AoE where after you've summoned like a bunch of imps, all the imps run in and just explode.
Is it called Implosion?
I don't actually know, but that probably. I would hope so.
That's cool.
Yeah, the new demonology is like really freaking neat, man. Well, our buddy Ben's been messing around with it and was telling me about it, and then I went and watched a video on it. It is called Implosion. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Demonic forces suck all your wild imps toward the target and then cause them to violently explode. It's amazing. It's so cool.
That's cool.
I want to be able to tank, but warlocks are so freaking cool, man.
I mean, you also played a lot of Hunter, so.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that happened is my Hunter, Alliance side, my original main, my Night Elf Hunter, still on Lightbringer. He is now max level. Katie has started playing again for the first time in years, and she used her boost on her original Night Elf Druid main. I didn't have that many levels to go, so I just leveled my Hunter up. And we've been questing together. We went and did the Alliance side of the Burning of Teldrassil, and now we've been over the weekend. We played some LFR and did some dailies and got geared up.
Nice.
Yeah, I forgot how much I love Hunter. We talked about this last week, like specifically Beast Hunter. It's rocking. I really like it. It's also kind of like face roll easy, which is such a nice switch after freaking Breath of Sindragosa and Death Knight.
Well, I mean, and I've learned that the breath thing is optional. It's a talent now.
Oh, it's always been optional. It's just that for the majority of Legion, it was the correct talent to take if you wanted to actually do damage.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it can be avoided if you so choose.
Yeah, I'm just done. Death Knight is dead to me.
It is nice. I mean, I was like Karazhan 5-man gear, then life got busy and just not busting out the Dark Shore. I definitely feel pretty darn powerful everywhere I go. Shadow's gotten really fun too. It's a lot more simple. I got to combine my pain with my vampiric touch, so I only have to put 1 dot on them now thanks to talents.
Nice.
I did not like going Shadow before. Granted, now I'm actually questing through all the Argus stuff to see what that all was about and see the story, and there's a lot of it. Like, oh my god.
There's some cool stuff in there, especially if you're like a really old school Warcraft fan. Everything going on with Terralion and Illyria.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know them very well. Terralion's voice is driving me nuts. I know him from something.
I believe it was Warcraft 2. Did you play Warcraft 2?
No.
Oh, okay. That was the first time they went through the dark portal to try and close it, and they did end up closing it. So it was Khadgar, Terralion, and Illyria go through the portal to close it. They successfully close it, but they're stuck on the other side.
Oh, interesting.
I think Khadgar gets back. I don't remember exactly, but it's been a while. Travis Willingham is Terralion.
Travis Willingham.
I don't know who that is, but thank you, Navawar, in the chat room. Let's IMDb this gentleman.
He does Sophia the First, Spider-Man, something. Come on, IMDb, work.
Saying a voice actor was in a Spider-Man cartoon does not help narrow it down.
Lots of animes. Oh, it's what's it? Critical Role Man.
Oh, well, there you go.
Really?
There you
I
go.
guess. Yeah. Wow. He's like me. Without some facial hair, he looks very different. Isn't that him? Yeah. Married to Laura Bailey.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, he has not done anything I am particularly familiar with.
Various characters. Dragon Ball. That was old.
Yep, but lots of credits to his name. But yeah, overall, man, dude, I'm all in on WoW again. It's the thing I want to play the most right now. I'm very excited for BFA.
Yeah, I think Argus. I mean, certainly, I've been digesting a lot of like people talking about it recently, and like they're kind of like cracking packs, and I just go, oh, cracking packs, jeez,
what
disrespect. I hate when people say cracking packs in Hearthstone. And so people call, artifacts are just stat sticks now. I'm like, oh, have some respect. Like, it's an artifact. It's an ancient thing of lore, and you're calling it a stat stick.
Well, it is. It's a way to explain a mechanic quickly.
It's disgusting. But apparently, the power tail is what you call it when you're talking about how long it takes you to like level up, or the path you go through to become more powerful.
I've never heard that term in my life.
And they're worried that we're all pretty reassured that the islands are smaller. That will definitely mix islands at some point for PvP because we're kind of split Alliance Horde Island at first. And then there'll be more islands that get discovered as we go because,
Patches.
like Argus, they just opened up these huge worlds, like quest story worlds. It's really impressive. I just got to the Lightforged Draenei last night, and they're in their mechs. Like, Crystal Tech is one of my least favorite fantasies next to airships. Just it's got there's no effort to it, like magic arcane in the books and someone's sitting there like working and summoning and you're like, yeah, that's hard work. But they're like, we put 2 crystals and lightning goes between them and that makes a portal. Shut up. It works. The same thing with airships.
I'm with you on that, but I love airships. I will fight you on airships. Love them.
There's no danger in an airship.
There's a lot of danger in an airship. There's a ton of danger in an airship. When a ship sinks, you can get on a smaller ship and row away. When an airship goes down, you're dead.
Well, I disagree because the plot armor is too strong there. The suffering of a character on a ship boat, like even if they were like, the boat's on fire, get to the safety boat, the tiny boat, and they get in the tiny boat, that sucks. Like you see like 20 people packed in that thing and you're just like, man, that sucks for our character. What an adventure. But airship's like, we're going down. Hold on. I'm okay though. Don't worry. We crash landed. It's fine. Like the frickin' Lightforge. It was so cheesy. It's like, no, it was shot by the Legion. And it just like, crap, I'm becoming a dungeon, like embeds itself in the side of a mountain so the whole thing's not sitting there.
It didn't bother me. I liked it, but yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think the quality of
it's cool.
The quality of the airship depends on, I guess, the story you're trying to tell.
Yeah, and these particular airships were crystal
UFOs.
UFOs.
You have an airship in XCOM 2, man, and that thing feels like it's trying to kill me constantly.
That's true. I mean, that's definitely Avengers airship level, in which you're always going, oh, that thing's going down. That thing's. Which I was so sad it never did again. It got like EMPs again, like, oh, EMPs. EMPs are what's the get knocked in the head? Amnesia of tech movies. And like every time I see them, I'm like, oh, Amnesia, are you serious? But it's usually done well. I just hate the idea of it.
Fair.
But in XCOM, like you get shot down and it's like, oh crap, and it's a really tough mission. You go out there and you have to destroy the EMP thing and get back onto your ship. And then it never happened again. And I built like turrets. I built like a specialty turret thing for the ground levels, and they never happened again because I was too good. Maybe, I'm not sure.
I don't know. So I'm curious. I've had a ton of chances to kind of speak to it, but where do you fall on the Sylvanas controversy? Has it even resonated with you?
Oh, I mean, I thought that was the best 24 hours of Twitter ever. I thought it was a hilarious good time. I and Kristen love evil, and I love Megatron. I love verbose speeches. I love Starscream. Like, to me, it was all awesome. And in my fantasy head, I eventually wore out because I saw weakness, the likes of which I had never seen from my Horde brethren.
Wait, what?
Weakness, lacks of strength, the sadness issuing forth from fans was too real. They lacked fun at a certain point. And I made an important discovery. Blood elves. Blood elves were the main problem. 90% of complainers were either Thrall, Horde orcs, who only joined the Horde because they love Thrall, or blood elves, who wanted to be beautiful and misunderstood.
I disagree. I feel like a lot of it was coming from Tauren.
Well, the Tauren and like the druid thing, like I'll go with you on that. Like, yeah, we burned down a tree, and
there was
the
a
Tauren
24-hour period where if you made a Tauren post about Sylvanas on the WoW subreddit, you were at the top.
Sure, and like and that's role play. Like I was cool with that. With the Tauren, and like a druid being like, I don't want to burn it down. I'm like, yeah. And I bet you they'd say something about that. I bet you somebody in your faction's like, that was bad. But the orcs were all convinced that nobody anywhere, that there was going to be no repercussions, that nobody was going to speak up about anything. And it was just ridiculous. But the worst was the Blood Elves, because they all want to be beautiful little misunderstood flowers. And when their faction goes evil, they're like, oh, woe is me. I'm so tortured. The Alliance never accepted me. If only I wasn't so beautiful, they would stop trying to kill us all.
Kyle,
Hunters are the worst.
Wow.
Because they don't even have mana addiction anymore. They have focus. Like, they have straight up cast off everything that could possibly make them slightly evil in the worst place.
Blood Elves can also be warriors now.
Yeah, well, I don't give a damn about the warriors, because they're strong. They want to smash.
And they've always been able to be rogues, which don't use mana either.
And rogues are dicks. They don't care. Most of them are undead anyway.
I feel very targeted, because 3 of my 4 max level tunes on the Horde are Blood Elves, and my first tune was a hunter, but it was a night elf.
I mean, but let me picture it. Like, you're sitting there, and Sylvanas is smiling at the tree burning, and you're just like, oh, that was no good, was it? Oh, was it any good, was it? And you just turn straight to your pet, and you just start doing that to it. Like, you can't trust them. Can't. You know, and like, I'm sitting here on a troll, and I'm like, you know, damn it, man. I just want to ride dinos, have a peaceful life, man, and crap's going down. What are you going to do about it? You know, people want to kill me because I look a little odd.
All right, so as a Blood Elf, as someone who did take issue with this turn, but also as someone who has spread, what's the word I'm looking for? Opinions in many different avenues, I'm going to try a different angle, and I'm going to retort with this, Kyle. Kyle, isn't the main reason you like playing Horde is so that you can be a monster that is not a villain? Isn't that an appealing source of Horde pride? Like, I am a monster, but not really. You just think I look like one, but I am not actually the villain of this story.
I've never really considered it, honestly, as a thing. So that I feel like says some answer to your question, but to go deeper, if we had been more evil from the start, I may have enjoyed it more. It's never been a plot point that's been required of me. I thought it was cool that Zul'jin was a troll. I didn't particularly care if he was good or not to enjoy that moment. In fact, if he was evil, like, you know, burn them all and send them to Luau or whatever the god's called.
Loa.
Yeah. Maybe I would have enjoyed that more. You know, it's tough too, because through all this, I do need to say that, like, I work data entry. That's my big defense. I was working data entry. Like, I missed out on a lot of Wrath of the Lich King, all of Pandaria basically, except for leveling, all of Warlords of Draenor. Like, my Garrosh 2.0 senses are not developed. I simply do not care. And to say, like, you know, this sandwich has cilantro. I hate cilantro. This sandwich doesn't have cilantro, but it's just sandwich 2.0. Screw this sandwich. Like, no, this is a delicious, tasty sandwich. Like, I'm okay if we have 2 sandwiches in the day. Like, this is my lunch sandwich, this is my dinner sandwich. I'll eat another sandwich. And I'm happy that this sandwich makes more sense.
I got nothing. That's great. I love that you just boiled this down to sandwiches.
Right? So I understand the fear of a lot of people that we're just going to be raiding Sylvanas in the end, and then I thought it was the weakness that I saw in my Horde brethren came to a point when they released Sorrowfang's cutscene at like 9 p.m. at night Eastern or Western time, Pacific, because like they had to like make sure nobody did something drastic over the weekend. Like it was intense. And like to speak to that intensity for a moment, like there were a lot of story. Like I said, the first 24 hours was a lot of fun. People were pissed. They were still getting their thoughts together. People hadn't congealed on the internet yet. I'm going to use that word purposefully, congealed. They hadn't watched their YouTube videos that were going to get them more riled up. They hadn't read a better written post than what they have posted yet. So they hadn't developed the language to be properly depressed and angry. And by day 2, there were people who were basically showing how much this game meant to them and what they'd given up for this game. And that's the frightening part, is, people sharing that they don't have the job they want. They didn't go out last night. They don't have many friends, like all these things that they've given up so they can have more time in World of Warcraft. And when the story goes bad to them, their investment in World of Warcraft is tainted. And that's a scary thought. Something you put this much time into, and then it just completely veers off in a direction you don't want it to. And you're left there questioning. Some people out there are left questioning, oh my God, I should have put more effort into real life. I've put too much effort into World of Warcraft, and now it's betrayed me.
I didn't see any of that. So I'm not sure I agree with what you're saying. To me, it was just interesting that for the first time in my experience with this game, I was seeing folks considering the roleplay of their character on a large scale.
And that's cool. And headcanon is more important than normal canon to me. One of the most frustrating things I saw amongst this was, what's canon now? And we talked a little bit about that last week, but I'm just like...
Yeah, I disagree with you vehemently. Canon, but I mean, headcanon is important, but you're playing through Warcraft 3 right now. Warcraft 3 is set in stone and is important to you. So I don't understand how you can say that.
Well, I mean, good story is good story, but I don't particularly care if something gets metconned, as they call it.
This isn't metcon, though. This is like met copy, met paste.
Sure. I mean, as long as we're having fun, right? Like the spaceships make sounds in space, as long as we're having fun,
Yeah, right. And that's the thing. I don't know. To me, like again, you can hear my thoughts on the instance. You can hear my thoughts on my solo show R2T2, like really going deep, and I don't want to retread it here, but like my TLDR is that I never have considered Sylvanas a villain, and now she is just a villain.
But I mean, the only reason why she didn't plague bomb the tree is because y'all complained about too much green in the previous expansion. They're like, you're sick of green, huh? Well, guess what? Now it's red. All right? We were going to plague bomb the tree. Would that have made more sense? Probably. But y'all bitched and complained. Too much green, and we didn't want to show you green before the expansion, so okay. We burnt it. Burn it down.
Again, I don't know if that's the case, and it wouldn't make a difference.
I mean, she literally is like, okay, war chief, I won't do it. I won't res any more dead. Keep resing the dead. Bombs, the Gilneas. Like, she's great off her rocker, and I love it. So, but I'm not invested. I don't have a Sylvanas statue. I'm not. There's nothing really in my head that makes her better than she is. I'm sitting next to Kristen, who plays an undead, and is just like, kill them all. And like every time she sees Sylvanas and she's like, we have to be reserved, she's like, shut up, Sylvanas, kill them all. Right, let's do it. And she's a rogue too, so undead rogue. It's a perfect storm of kill them all.
This is where I start to come over to your side of the camp on the headcanon is most important, because it's just like, what kind of character do you want to play, and that is fun. Like, what you're just describing is fun. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I am more excited to just go and play. I want to go explore the new zones. I want to continue my character's story. So it doesn't really matter how dumb it gets. I'm still stoked. It's a new freaking World of Warcraft expansion I'm in.
Well, and like for Argus right now, I didn't see any of that. And in fact, I have purposely been avoiding spoilers for a long time for BFA now. I didn't even know what Argus looked like. I hadn't seen any of those beasties walking around. In my own class hall, I'd seen some of the light forged
Draenei?
No, the Nathrazim, I guess they are.
Yeah. They do show up in the priest order hall. Yeah. Yeah, it's one specific Nathrazim. I'm forgetting his name. But yeah, that's like a big turn in the priest quest.
Yes. So The Nathrazim, evil as they may be, can be saved and changed by the light. How interesting. Wouldn't it be fascinating if she was opposed by some sort of follower of the light who was using the light instead of death to stop Sylvanas? What if that same character was to res someone with the light? What if there was a prophecy said in one such raid by a crazy dragon that Sylvanas was going to feature a third death? What if that third death is her becoming a Lightforged Banshee?
God, I hope not.
Hold on. I've got two options here. One's Garrosh 2.0. What you go? God, hope not. And one's Lightforged Banshee. Oh God, I hope not. Like what? You want her to like get married to Nathanos and go off and live in a farm?
I want them to stop instructor of Defense of the Dark Arts in every goddamn Harry Potter booking the freaking war chiefs. Can we just stick with a war chief for a little bit and actually have them grow as a character?
But he's not a peace chief. He's a war chief. And there's a whole alliance full of people that are like, they literally have a king.
We had years of peace chief thrall.
Yeah, but he didn't do much until he did much, but then he left. And he cheated too. He was a cheater.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I'm looking at this, I'm like, you're just really hot on Game of Thrones right now, so you're just making someone go crazy because you want to enjoy a Game of Thrones arc with one of your leaders.
Well, I mean, I've said that before. Every expansion is just what they were experiencing a year and a half ago. And hey, what was happening in California? Forest fires, right? It's perfect.
Boy, I don't know if that's true.
They're like, damn, it's hot and smoky outside. You know what we should do? We should burn down Tedrasil. I'm just sick of that place. Plus, it looks old. It's an old place.
It does look old. I'm hoping that something happens and it regrows and we get the zone redone with modern graphics.
I mean, I'm hoping that Sylvanas moves into it in a big dead tree, all messed up, and that's the new Undercity.
Oh, man, if that happens, actually, never mind. That's what I want. There, you sold me. I'm on board if that's what happens. Done. I can go play.
Anyone's gonna have to like call the wet vac. It's gonna be a bit more work to get people living in the Undercity again.
I dig. You just sold me, dude. You just sold me.
So the Saurfang cutscene came out. It was beautiful. People making like, oh, they made this up to make us feel better. It's like, yes.
Do you have any clue how long it takes to make one of these?
That's how production lines work.
Also, by the way, it was released as late as it was because it was debuted at a fan event in China.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's great then. Even more justification. In fact, it was full of justification. What was it? Even last week, I was talking about what has been dubbed Shocky Boy. I'm sorry, people who hate memes, but that's his name right now.
You mean Zappy Boy?
Zappy Boy, yes.
Yeah, he's Zappy Boy. He must be protected.
He didn't use any spells before Sylvanas showed up, and I was like, why? And why is Saurfang half naked? And why does Sylvanas not show up until the fight's already going? It's like, well, because they raised the flag right then. It was morning. She just got up, or she didn't because they don't sleep.
Well, so Saurfang puts one of his shoulders back on apparently before the fight, because in the cinematic that we saw last year, which is the intro to the expansion, he has his left shoulder on again, but just his left shoulder.
Well, it's been a while.
But yeah, shoulders off for Saurfang, all that stuff. I thought the cinematic was great, and I said this on the inside. I think it bears repeating though. Like, despite my grievances with Sylvanas, like overall, I think the fact that they kind of stoked the feelings that they're showing in Saurfang in a large chunk of the player base before showing the cinematic is rather brilliant. Like, it's a really cool meta, out of game experience.
The stupid thing about it is that when Game of Thrones goes, I don't remember the song in a moment. It's been a while, but
wiener, wiener, wiener.
Yeah, no, I remember that song. But they kind of like play a version of it on the credits, and they end with a shock.
Oh, like, yeah, there's like a lot of war drums.
There's going to be another episode. But for some reason, this happens, and people go, and that's the end. Oh, my God. And this is Sylvanas forever. No one will disagree with this.
Man, I don't know. I'm in that point where I was like, I disagree, but I also kind of want to move on because I've talked so much about this. Like my issue is that it's that specific beat. Like I know there's more after this. I'm assuming what comes after this will be cool. I just think this one bit was a little convenient.
I think it was good.
All right,
it was right.
That's fair, man. That is fair, and I'm really stoked on your take on it.
I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And at the end of the day, I don't care because I'm really enjoying playing World of Warcraft right now.
Yeah, it's well made. You know, some of those older zones they don't hold the capture. There's so much voice acting too in Argus. Like just the game has evolved so much that to judge it by even the leveling. I was tweeted last night by a guy who picked up his very first character ever. 110. He bought Battle for Azeroth. He used his boost, and he's running around on an affliction lock, and he's just loving it. And I asked him, like, as someone who, like, imagining that, isn't it intimidating? He's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. There's so many resources, dude. Like, it's pretty easy to get up to speed. Even if in-game itself, it might be a little bit daunting, but they even have the tutorials now. When you boost that character.
Yeah, tutorial too.
Although I believe they only work for specific specs, but whatever. Go to Icy Veins. They've got an easy mode. Click on easy mode. It'll tell you how to play your class.
Yeah, it won't teach you how to tank. It won't teach you how to heal, but it does. And like if it has multiple specs, I think the affliction lock is the lock you get.
Yeah, warrior I believe is it Fury or is it arms? I don't remember. Whatever the case is, it actually does a pretty damn good job. Katie went through it, getting back into her balanced druid, and she's like, yeah, cool, I get this now. This is very different from last time she played, apparently. But, yeah, I'm ready. By the way, speaking of, like, the voice acting in the game, let me know when you boost your Alliance tune, because I want to get your opinion on the Alliance side of the Darkshore quest, because, dude, you get to go to Darnassus while it's burning, and it is heartbreaking.
Oh, I've heard, yeah, you got a quest to save 1,000, and you can't do any.
Straight up impossible to hit that number. You can save some people, but...
So a lot of people just run into the house to see the Worgen saying, this is fine.
Yes. But it's some good stuff, and there's some heartbreaking shit in the Temple of the Moon before you end that quest. It's all voice acted, and I'm just sitting there being like, yeah, it's like a Disney World ride, because they're just standing there kind of stiltedly waving their arms around, delivering these lines, and still I'm like, this is so much better than it's ever been.
Yeah, you imagine over the top of it, and
yeah.
It's a good vessel for a story.
Yep, it's good, dude. Some good stuff. I'm so stoked on it right now. I'm actually kind of annoyed that Hearthstone's being timely with their expansion. Because I'm like, no, I have WoW to play. Can't you be quiet right now?
When does that drop?
Today, or tomorrow. Sorry.
Oh.
Tomorrow.
New adventures? Solo stuff?
They're going back to the more old school, like... It's not a boss, because I believe it's, like, specifically... Well, I guess it's technically bosses. So, like, the old adventures, as opposed to... There's no dungeon run this time.
Okay.
Obviously a crap ton of new cards, and yeah, that's what. So we're doing Angry Chicken today for our final card review episode to knock it all out. We have 56 cards still to talk about.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so we're gonna do half of it's neutral, so I'm hoping it's gonna go a little quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have the rest of the cards to talk about, and then tomorrow, whenever it goes live, hopefully we'll have a chance to stream.
Sweet. Jeez.
Yeah, it happens every time.
Yeah.
It's just the thing we have to deal with. That makes the shows kind of long, but they're fun, man. It's fun to sit there and be like, I don't know, but this seems crazy. It's good stuff. Did you watch any EVO over the weekend?
I didn't. I saw people tweeting about it.
Man, I want to get into fighting games. Like, I didn't watch it as it was happening. I just kept seeing a lot of the highlights and headlines, and I was going back in and watching these highlights and whatnot. And oh God, I love how unpolished it is. Like, after all the Overwatch stuff, I'm just like, yeah, this is nice, but it's a little too sports for me. And this is great, man. This reminds me of going to MLG.
Well, it's like when they at least show the crowd, right? It's just dudes in like chairs, fold out chairs sitting on a stage.
Yeah, well, which isn't unlike a lot of the stages we go to at BlizzCon, unless you go to whatever the insanity in the arena is.
That's true. I mean, we're very, well, I guess at this point, because the games move so fast and there's no team play, it doesn't matter if you hear the audience or not.
No.
So they don't need to be like in their booths protected from one another.
Yeah. Yeah, but what really piqued my interest is apparently Smash 4 is a bit of a shit show right now.
So Smash 4 is
the most recent version of Super Smash Brothers that came out for the Wii U.
Okay, Wii U.
Yeah.
All right.
This is not Melee, which is probably not arguably, the most popular version of the game played competitively.
That's the GameCube one.
Yeah,
right?
that's GameCube one. Warts and all. But apparently Bayonetta is like just dominating the professional Smash 4 scene to the point where it was mostly Bayonetta players in like the top 8, and they had to deal with boos from the crowd and also the crowd just leaving.
Oh, that explains what I'm looking at here, which is some rather dramatic stuff, and then crowds, just getting up and going.
Yeah. But oh, man, I found it wildly entertaining. The players having to deal with it. Like one of the players just straight up, like after he won, rolled up his controller, is leaving the stage, and just gives the entire crowd the finger as he's exiting.
I just saw that.
And that player made it into the finals, and was friends with the other finalists, and it ended up being a Bayonetta versus Bayonetta finals, and they're just sitting there talking and smiling and having a great time.
Well, I mean, they at least drew a crowd for it. People were ready to watch it, and people enjoy. I'm excited. Completely unrelated. Speaking of people booing, the Horde have been booing during the Alliance part of BlizzCon for a long time. I hope this shuts them up this year. Because for like days out, I was talking about this too last week. How the Horde are so disrespectful during the Alliance tweets. Alliance tweets are clean these days, man. They cleaned up real fast. They haven't recovered yet. I'm loving it. But
Yeah, actually, this is a great example of what the Horde players will be doing. We all threw a fit, and we all said we're going to leave, and then you get to the finals of this, and everyone's back in the seats.
Oh my God, I'm seeing the tweets. I apologize for my disrespectful showing in the grinds. I was truly doing my best. Blah, blah, blah. He didn't try hard enough.
I loved this. I don't know. I found this really entertaining. It felt like wrestling. I loved it.
Yeah, but wrestling, like, and wrestling has its crazed story fans right now too, that are basically arguing Garrosh 2.0 and stuff like that, and it's weird to see.
WWE is boring as shit at the moment.
Oh yeah, is that the problem?
Yeah, it's not great. It's not particularly great. I haven't been watching.
It's so weird to me to require 19 to 23-year-olds to make apologies for their childish actions. Like, you think you're invincible at that age. That is the stereotype. You are literally insane. Everyone under 25 is actually insane. In some, maybe people are listening to this being like, I'm 25, I'm not insane. Well, there's probably a part of your life that's probably pretty nuts compared to being 30 and whatnot. Not like that's a big jump either. But like, there's a witch hunt going on the Heroes Reddit right now too. And there's a witch hunt every weekend right now over on that Reddit, because people just hate playing on the weekends, and people get to play on the weekends, and the matchmaker's not great because people are playing on the weekends, So it's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of went with a different direction in my head of like, they don't need to apologize, not because of their age, but because the crowd was being a bunch of assholes and they deserve to get the middle finger. Like, they're playing to win. If that character is the best, we get mad at Nintendo because they don't patch their shit.
And we don't love villains, I guess, is what it's coming down to. If you flip off the crowd, I'm like, oh, like, I'm not thinking, oh, that guy's in trouble. Ooh. Ooh, like I'm thinking, oh, he's an asshole. Oh, like how exciting. We have a villain now.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of depends because you like folks.
His job.
You can go back and dig up old episodes of StarCast where I was complaining about what the hell Naniwa. The guy was an ass. I couldn't stand him. But it was like in context. Like he was an ass to the other players. A lot of what I'm seeing from Evo this weekend, specifically in regards to Bayonetta players, are players being respectful to the other players and telling the crowds to shove it up their ass. And I find that wildly entertaining and also justified because of the behavior of the crowd.
That's crazy, man. What a world we live in.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just I find it wildly entertaining. Also, Fighter Z, the Dragon Ball fighting game, is amazing. It is so watchable.
Oh, that's good.
And the players over there are great.
Is that what's Dragon Ball 8 at the moment?
It's Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Z.
But yeah, when you're bored at some point, Kyle, I would love for you to, maybe watch a game or two of Fighter Z because I've never played the game. I have no idea how it works, and I am wildly entertained.
Why do they get M's on their heads?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, wait, are you talking about just in Dragon Ball in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Are you talking about Majin Vegeta?
Oh, did he combine with Boo?
No, he became possessed by Babidi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why. I thought you were talking about maybe like a text letter M floating over the characters' names, which I haven't personally seen, but I don't know the game well enough to refute it.
Signifying they're unstoppable.
Yeah, but whatever the case is, I just like the look of everything I've seen from Evo this weekend. It's big, it's raucous, but it's still kind of has this grassroots feel that I really dig. Are you fighting an insect?
Pardon me.
Oh, mosquito. Okay, gotcha. Well, shall we take a couple questions before we wrap this episode up?
Let's do that.
I'd like to remind everybody you can write in amovetv@gmail.com, put Weeksauce somewhere in the headline, or the subject, because that's what it's actually called when you're sending an email, and write into the show. Our questions today are coming from Twitter, @ThrostleHarry. Asks if you could revisit one event in history, just one event, something being invented, a famous battle, birth, or death, etc., then be sent back to present day, what event would you choose and why?
Well, I've got a canned answer for this, and this is I want to see elephants marching for war. Like, more elephants just light my imagination. That's just nuts. Just so backwards. Why you see them walking out in the field looking all majestic and you're just like, Though maybe they're Indian elephants, because African elephants, everything's pretty moody. All the animals are all jumpy. So I doubt they were African elephants. I should look that up, actually.
I'm sure you can find facts about that.
Before I go back in time, I should learn more about the time period.
Maybe. I want to see dinosaurs. I just want to see dinosaurs. Seeing as we don't know the time of a specific event, this would be a pretty big crapshoot. But I would like to go back to the Cretaceous and watch the Tyrannosaurus eat something.
Yeah. Well, chances are you could find one pretty quick. I mean, animals are pretty loud. We like to make fun of dinosaurs sitting around screaming at the sun all the time, but they're probably doing stuff.
Yeah. I also feel like this needs the caveat of you will not die.
Sure. Yeah, I would like to have one of those flying Death Knight starting zone bubbles that I can just float around in.
Yeah, there you go. I don't want an airship because what if it crashes?
Sure, or you might accidentally drop a wrench and then velociraptors learn how to be mechanics and take over the universe.
Oh, there's so many implications there.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the time travel.
My follow-up would be to wish for more stops and just go see a bunch of concerts from bands that are either past their prime or dead.
Yeah, particularly like seeing their cruddy high school showings, like when nobody knew. Like, I'd love to see some bands that sound like that are really famous but are kind of butts in their sound, like Rush. I really like Rush, but I'd love to know what like a pre-famous Rush concert looked like, because I assume everybody was like, and the trees in the forest, and everyone's like, what the crap is this?
Why is this
he
taking
even
so
singing?
long?
Like, what is this?
It's poorly mixed. There's just a lot of drum fills and random bass solos.
I love Rush, but it's totally one of those things of like, if it wasn't famous already, you're kind of sitting there going like, what is
What's
this?
going on here? Huh? Yeah. Yeah, that's my backup. But really, I just want to see a Tyrannosaurus Rex, man.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I remember watching Jurassic Park being like, I might get to see this one day, and now I'm pretty sure I'll die without ever seeing a real dinosaur.
I mean, there's so much denial. There's so much calm down as a kid. And then you get to see dinosaurs, and they're like, yes, they were real. No, they're real. I'm going to go buy you a toy because it's educational. And you're like, are you freaking serious? You're always telling me to calm down about Ninja Turtles and it not being real, and now this happens? It's the best thing ever.
Yep. At Kilmernock writes in and says, what smell reminds you of your childhood? For me, it's the salty smell of Tampa Bay. Whenever I revisit the area, I have to drive from Tampa Airport across the causeway to Safety Harbor. It always gives me a smile and calms me. Man, you must be the only person in God's green earth where driving in Tampa calms you. Whew. I lived in Los Angeles. Driving in Tampa is worse.
Bathrooms at Walmart?
What?
I know, right? It's
actually no, that makes sense.
Because it smells just like a daycare. There's the smell of food from one end and poo and cleaning products in the other, and they mix, and that's a daycare smell. And every time I walk by it, I'm like, whoa, Echo the Dolphin.
Oh my God, dude.
Whoa, giant Legos. Like, it just
Echo the Dolphin. Yes. Oh, so good. So freaking good, dude. Wow, that's funny. That actually does kind of make sense. Because also, I was thinking just because that's the only time you use the Walmart bathroom, because now as an adult, not only do I avoid Walmart as much as possible, I avoid using public restrooms as much as possible.
Well, and each Walmart has like a produce manager, and our Walmart has great produce. And like our Walmart's really nice. But I've seen the Florida Walmarts, and they're not so nice.
No, they're terrible. Stay away from them. We have a Walmart I could walk to from my home. I drive 5 miles to Target.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there. It disturbs me.
They work hard here. The Washingtonian Walmarts are nice. Won't speak for Eastern. That mountain, it divides. Don't know what you're like over there.
As for me, geez, honestly, just having the windows open. Because it happens so seldomly in Florida that it's nice enough to open your windows that when they are open, it reminds me of the holidays. Because back when I was a kid, it was actually cold in December. Nowadays, it's kind of a crapshoot that it's cold in December.
And that's when you have the windows open is December?
Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid growing up, if the windows were open, if there was the smell of fresh air coming through the home, it was because it was almost time for Christmas. It was almost time for the family to come over and for gatherings. And it just is this... And I don't know, the crisp, cold air, which is something that is not common in Florida. It's just this thing. It reminds me of, the fun time of year.
Yeah.
The other one is just the smell of Key West, which honestly is not that pleasant. On a hot July day, especially if it's garbage day, it smells rather terrible. But also walking the marina and just smelling the salt water, and, the smell of the fishermen coming in with just an ass ton of mahi and filleting it right there on the docks, and then the tarpon coming up and splashing, which introduces all this salt into the air, and it's my happy place, man.
Smell makes my feet hurt.
Smell makes your feet hurt?
Yeah. My response to the salty air is because I don't know how to walk in frickin' sandals. And either I've got a new pair of strappies that are just ripping holes in my feet, or I'm trying in vain to wear flip-flops, and I just can't I always stub my toes. I have to do the curl walk, because otherwise I kick them off. I don't know how it's done.
Are you wearing cheap sandals?
Does it matter? They're all nuts.
Totally. Cheap foam flip-flops, those things are going to bend out of the way and you're going to skin your toes.
Yeah.
But if like you get a halfway decent pair that have a hard bottom, they hold up a lot better.
I'd rather just old hippie it with some socks and some strappy doos.
Oh God, I hate you right now. I hate you.
I don't
so
wear
much.
the socks. That's why my feet hurt, man. I wish I was in socks.
Just wear shoes and save us all.
Yeah.
God. Ugh. Kyle, no. Strappy sandals. I don't get the point. It's just like, just wear shoes.
Well, what about the leather ones that are kind of like Prince of Persia shoes?
Prince of Persia shoes.
Yeah, where like they're real hardy. They're not like they're not your REI like hiking sandals, as stupid as that is to say. Like they're like actual like they're basically shoes with holes in them. They're like leather shoes, but they have a lot of holes in them.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
So I can't speak to it. I have no clue what you're talking about.
look at the feet of Prince of Persia next time you're viewing him, particularly the one with the red and the blue, that cell shaded one.
Oh, that was the Prince of Persia.
I think it was just called
scarf.
Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia with the scarf.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Oh, I've never seen anyone wear those in real life.
Well, I owned a pair.
Sidious
worked.
Ritz in the chat room says Crocs. Just go Crocs and call it a day.
They smell.
Duh.
It hurts my teeth.
Nope.
See, now we're getting into all the smells that make me feel things, but the smell of rubber makes my teeth hurt because I've had a lot of orthodontistry.
Every now and then I get the something causes the odor of gack, and that makes me think of childhood. Yeah. Gack has a weird smell that I can't describe.
I love, by the way, that Nerf is making Overwatch things, because I get really confused when there's Nerfs going out for Overwatch, but there's also Nerfs coming to Overwatch.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like, oh man, 18 hours ago. Okay, so this is a very new development.
Yeah.
Oh, that Diva gun looks dope.
I'm glad I don't do a show on balancing Overwatch, because this would have been madness for a while.
Oh, dude, I'm going to have to buy one of these. And then I'm going to have to paint all the orange bits to not be orange.
Oh, and they're just like, what? People can buy spandex of full Diva outfits. We need to get on this. We're basically guaranteed $20 every time someone cosplays.
Didn't you see that teaser 2 months ago? Says Drizzling Rose. No, I don't follow this shit. But this is awesome. Yeah, someone get Bill Duran on the line. I need to know how to make these look even better.
Weather.
Yep, weather it. Speaking of Drizzling Rose is our final question today. This is an old one I'm pulling from the reserve. She asks, most cool archetype in fantasy. I love me some portal magic. Sending people to the bottom of the ocean is cool. It's hard to beat portal magic. That's actually one of my favorite things in D&D. Things like the portable hole and whatnot. It's just bonkers. It's like, because I mostly all my role playing experience, with very few exceptions, are set in the Star Wars universe. So the things that really get me excited about D&D and fantasy settings are things that just don't and can't exist in Star Wars.
I got to do a one-off with a group that was a mage school. You were running around the school, and it was flooded, and a mage had accidentally opened a portal to the deep ocean. So there were like sharks in the hallways and stuff.
Oh, that's really cool.
It was fun. And I mean, portals were done so well recently in Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
But archetype, I really like Horcruxes, phylacteries, Lord of the Rings ring, the Harry Potter's stuff.
Cursed objects.
Yeah, liches. And like, when they're all arguing and the ring's like, get real pissed off, kill everybody. I'm like, yes, go ring, go. So, liches, man, they're awesome. And anything that, like, when you become more powerful because you were resistant to death because you hated dying so much that you kept living, that's awesome.
So you like cheesy dark?
Is that cheesy dark?
I don't know. It's just things that are dark and spooky.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, like, Yeah, dark fantasy, nasty critters. When you say cheesy dark, I think of like Reaper. I think of edgy.
Well, I'm also thinking of like connecting this to High School Kyle, who's probably, edgy goth for the sake of being edgy goth.
Sure.
I mean, I was, edgy punk for the sake of being edgy punk. So
Sure.
happens. Oh my God, I'm starting to realize why you don't like Kylo Ren.
Oh, because my past. That's a little
too real.
he's a fabulous. I really like his acting. He does a good job with it. And in fact, this weekend's D&D or last weekend's D&D, I had to pull hit myself to keep my rage going kind of thing.
Yes.
Because if you don't take damage, your rage ends. So at one point, I wanted to keep my rage going, and so I bit myself.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
dude, that's awesome. Yeah. Freaking dope, man.
We freaking owned this weekend, man. It was so good. Like, there was a group that we just dodged when we were level 3s, and now we came back through it as level 4s, and we completely wrecked them. It was awesome. It was like half an hour of show where we're just owning the crap out of people.
Yeah, just traditional magic in general is what I really enjoy about fantasy settings. Because there's a lot of magic-esque things in Star Wars, but it's pretty limited to what we've seen in the films and shows. Things like lightning and force move. Or sometimes I just want to hurl, like, big sloppy lava fire. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, the effort behind it and all, too.
Like, actually, oh my God, my favorite representation of magic in any form of fiction is in the Voldemort-Dumbledore fight in the movie when he makes the water sphere. It is my favorite special effect in a fight scene ever.
Well, no, that's like versus the water, right? But then he also throws the glass and turns it to sand. Like,
that whole fight scene is incredible. Like, like if I have to pick favorites, it's like when he does that little twist with his wand and it makes like the whale noise, and suddenly water sphere.
Yeah, Snape in the books because like they have him do the bat cloak in the final movie and whatnot, and Snape gets some pretty cool effects. But in the books, man, that duel is just. Man, Snape's cool.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like the older I get, the further I move away from Sirius Black being the coolest character to Snape being the coolest character.
Well, life's messy, and I think Snape encompasses that. And as a kid, you're like, Sirius Black, he just like hoped through it, and like he's already an established adult, but you understand why Snape is the way he is, and that makes him cooler with time.
Yeah. Now I want to go rewatch all the Harry Potter movies.
Well, I mean, we didn't talk about it all today because, there's lots to talk about, but I started up The Lord of the Rings last night.
Man, Fellowship is so good.
It's so good.
So there's so much good world building. It's so well done.
When I even looked up last night to see what the order of shooting was, and the very first shot they ever did was the ring wraith on the log with the bugs coming out.
Yes.
That was great. They shot it completely out of order, too. It must have been a mind meld to work on.
I don't know. We just show up and, what are we doing today, coach? All right.
Yeah.
Go do my job. I don't know. Those movies are perfect. There's just nothing. I have no critique.
Yeah, Cave Troll's looking a little old. I wouldn't mind a little freshening up.
It's been a while. It's been a bit since I've watched it.
We don't need to add like farting monsters and dancing robots, but let's freshen up the Lord of the Rings.
Return of the King was on quite a few months back now, and we ended up watching through the back half of it when we were in Orlando for something, and it was on hotel television. And that still looked good to me, but it was also on a small hotel TV, so I don't know, maybe. Ooh. Yeah, it always seems like a good time to start watching Lord of the Rings again, and then you start and you're just like, what have I done? This is a really long movie.
It's good. Extended, of course.
Yeah, it's the only version I own at this point. My DVDs of the original cut have long since just been lost to time.
There's a fabulous bit of trivia that I found out last night, too, that the Skull tidal wave was filmed after he had already won the Oscar for the film.
Wait, what?
So he was making the extended edition for, is that Return of the King with the Skull tidal wave in the City of the Dead?
Skull tidal wave in the City. Yeah. City of the Dead is Return of the King.
Yeah, so it already come out. He won an Oscar for the darn film. But then he went and filmed the Skull tidal wave to add into the film because he really wanted it in there.
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Yeah. As not a reader of the book, Madman in the chat room, Helm's Deep is like my favorite thing in all of them. So I'm not on the same boat, I guess. I love Helm's Deep and Two Towers.
It's cool. It does. With time, it's become younger Kyle cool, like the Agent Smith fight in 2, where there's just 1,000 Agent Smiths. Like when I saw that one, I was like, oh man, when I was younger, I was like, oh crap, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Particularly when he pulls out the cement block and then breaks it on the one, and then like does the kick run that's just stupid and had no energy behind it. But Helm's Deep was really sweet, and as it's gone on, Fellowship, the small localized fight there in the throne room is my favorite fight scene in them all.
In the throne room.
Yeah, over the not throne room. I'm sorry, the grave of Balin, where the cave troll shows up.
Oh, gotcha, dude. My favorite is towards the end when the Uruk-hai catch up with them just in the forest.
Yeah, that's a good one too, and has the deflecting of the dagger and.
Yep, and that's also the point where Aragorn like whips out a second blade. He has that little like kind of long dagger, and he starts like dual wielding. I love it. I love everything about that. Aragorn is my spirit animal.
Oh, he's badass, man. He's everybody's first D&D character.
Yeah, but he's the coolest in Fellowship. He just gets incrementally more Leonardo and boring as the movies go along.
But there's also a nice level up kind of process. And
True, but just scrappy, the freaking rain-soaked hood sitting in the back of the bar like that. That is it. Yeah. That is everything I've always wanted to be in roleplay.
One of my goals, this movie will be 60 some odd years old, and one of my old man projects I've set for myself is to go through and add 3.0 rules to the bottom of the screen in captions. So nice. What the ring's rolling against Sean Bean, bam, bam, failure, attack Frodo, dodge, failure. It just like all of it just going constantly.
Please.
The fights would be exhausting. It'd be so much text.
Please do that, Kyle.
I want to.
Oh, that's great. Well, keep those emails coming, amovetv@gmail.com. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for joining us. Kyle, before we go, you do a lot of other content around the web. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find me over at twitch.tv/Kyle Ferguson. Mondays are usually viewer games. We take things pretty easy, get into it. This week is going to be supposedly White Mane release. So Wednesday will probably be the first day of actual Hero League over on that channel. But Heroes of the Storm play, twitch.tv/Kyle Ferguson. And of course, the end of Warcraft 3, we are to the Sylvanas missions and Frozen Throne.
Yes. Perfect timing. I am Garrett Art on Twitter. All of the podcasts that I do can be found at amove.tv. If you're watching live, I'll be back at 3 o'clock for our final Boomsday card review episode of The Angry Chicken. Tomorrow, at some point, I will be going live for card pack openings. Don't know when they're flipping the switch on that. Last time, they got it done on time, so we're hoping they do the same thing this time. So just keep your eyes peeled to twitch.tv/amovetv. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on Sylvanas, go check out my solo show. It's called R2T2. Reference to the 2 R's and 2 T's in the spelling of my name that I'm always having to remind people of. Go check that out. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Weeksauce. We hope you kicked your week off pretty well, nerding out about nerdy stuff with us. But until next time, good luck and have fun.
Take care.
Good show.
Good show, man.
Oh, now I just want to go rewatch freaking Fellowship. It's so good.
It is good. It's worth it.
Oh, man, now you got me thinking about it. Fellowship might be my favorite. I still don't like Return of the King more than Two Towers. So it used to be that Two Towers was my favorite, and that Return of the King is my least favorite. I think Return of the King is always going to be my least favorite. I just don't find the final battle all that interesting.
Yeah. It's got good moments, but it does wind down rather dramatically for an extended period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you got to watch the extended. I'm with you, Naval War.
Yeah, but the forests, the Helm's Deep, like those are decent scenes, but you got to line up the front half where the Sauron Gandalf fight, the Shire setting the stakes for what's going on in the war, Mines of Moria, fighting the woods. Like it's got a good stuff.
Yep. Yeah. No, and the more you talk about it, yeah, you're right, and I can totally see why you love it so much because it is just a greatest hits of what makes D&D great.
Exactly.
So good.
Well, sweet. I'm gonna run to my own channel. If any of you are gonna be there, I'll see you there soon. Otherwise, bye.